The eternal temple of Angkor, the jungle whispered with the rustling of ancient trees, their roots coiling over stone like the fingers of time itself. Fireflies flickered in the dense night air as the lone traveler stepped cautiously along a worn path. The ruins of Angkor Wat loomed before him, half lit by the silver glow of the moon, its spires reaching skyward like the peaks of Mount Meru, the sacred home of the gods. He had waited years to see this place, to touch the stones carved by hands long turned to dust. He had read of its history, the grand temple built in the 12th century by King Suryavarman II, the golden age of the Khmer Empire, the wars, the rise and fall of dynasties. But words in books could not compare to standing here, where time seemed frozen in each block of sandstone. A voice echoed behind him, low and steady. "You have come far." The traveler turned swiftly. In the dim light, an old monk stood beneath a towering archway, his saffron robes blending with the shadows. His face was lined with the weight of years, yet his eyes held a light as ancient as the temple itself. "Forgive me," the traveler said, dipping his head in respect. "I did not mean to intrude," the monk smiled. "No one intrudes upon Angkor. She welcomes all who seek her." He stepped forward, gesturing toward the vast temple complex. "Come, let me tell you a story." The traveler followed, his boots crunching against the stone. They walked in silence through the outer corridors, past intricate carvings of celestial dancers, warriors, and gods. The monk placed a wrinkled hand against the bas-reliefs, tracing the figures with reverence. "This temple," he said, "was not built by mere men. Legends say the great architect of the gods, Vishwakarma, constructed it in a single night. But history tells us another tale. It was King Suryavarman II who ordered its creation, not just as a temple to Vishnu, but as the very heart of his empire. He sought to unite heaven and earth in this sacred place, to ensure his name would live forever." The traveler listened intently. He had read of the Khmer king, of his conquest and his devotion. He had heard scholars call Angkor Wat an architectural marvel, a masterpiece of symmetry and design. But hearing it spoken here, in the hushed voice of the monk, made the past feel alive. They entered the central courtyard, where the great towers stood, their lotus-like spires piercing the night sky. The monk's voice grew softer. "When the Khmer Empire was at its height, thousands walked these halls, priests, scholars, warriors, kings. But all empire faded. The champs came with fire and steel, and the city bled. Then, the jungle grew hungry. It stretched its arms, reclaiming what men had built." The traveler imagined it, once a city of gold and stone, filled with chanting priests and the scent of incense. Then, abandoned. Silent. The roots of strangler figs splitting the walls, rain washing away the footsteps of forgotten kings. But Angkor Wat never fell, the monk continued. When the empire collapsed, the temple endured. And though the gods of the old kings faded, the Buddha remained. For centuries, monks like me have walked these corridors, keeping the spirit of this place alive. They reached the highest terrace, where the view stretched endlessly over the jungle. The traveler took a deep breath, the warm air thick with the scent of earth and time. "And now?" he asked. The monk smiled, his gaze resting on the temple below. "Now, the world comes to Angkor. They come to see what once was, to wonder at what remains. Some seek history, others, beauty. But the temple stands as it always has, watching, waiting." The traveler turned, bowing deeply. "Thank you for the story," the monk chuckled, stepping back into the shadows. "The temple tells its own story. All one must do is listen." The traveler stood alone for a long moment, letting the weight of centuries settle around him. Then, he descended the worn steps, the spirit of Angkor Wat whispering in the night air. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more history videos.